Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, and I'm here with Bella right over here, who is demanding lots of pets. So maybe she'll make an appearance on the camera. Yesterday, we had my wife come back home. Nope, you can't run away. My wife came back home. It was fantastic. She was wide awake, so unlike most trips where she comes home and just crashes, we had dinner together and then watched the first 4 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action thing on Netflix. It's good. It's kind of like a fast food version of the cartoon series, though, where everything is super delicious and quick and fast, and they've condensed the entire 20 episode first season down into 8 episodes. So there's a lot of storylines that are getting compressed or just left out. It's good though. It's super good. The casting on it is amazing. The music in it is exactly what it was from the cartoon, and I think that was a brave but correct choice. I know that it can be challenging for creative types to just use the exact template of something that has worked before. Usually they like to iterate over it just a little bit. No one likes doing the same exact thing all the time, but I think in this case it was a wise choice. Even if the music at times can be reductive and a little over the top about oh, here's the bad guys, and we've got a 3-note thing that indicates that these are the bad guys that you're watching right now. Okay, but it hits. It definitely does. There's a weird sense of nostalgia, which is weird to say for a cartoon series that feels like it was only a few years ago that came out, but it was much more than just a few. Sadly, it was a lot. So did that. Did some work yesterday. I'm officially back on the employment game. Working, but I still got plenty of free time, so I'm still applying to other jobs that could be remote. So that should be fun. And then not yesterday, but the day before, I forgot to mention that I got a laptop sitting underneath the 240-gallon fish tank that I have in my living room. That's streaming on the My Confined Space Twitch handle. That laptop, the fan on it is rattling and at times freezing up, and then the computer overheats and shuts down. So I actually took the whole thing apart to try to see if maybe there's a crumb or something inside of it, an ant died and got stuck in a magnetic spindle or something, but no such luck. Took the whole thing apart. Everything looks fine to me. The fan just gets stuck every now and then, and it's super loud. So I've got it on my to-do list to try to see how much those fan pieces can be to replace, because if we're talking $15-20, then great. If not, maybe that stream goes down for a little while until I have the money to replace the entire computer. But I don't know. It seems to be it's a good computer. It's just overheating, so maybe I can stick a different kind of fan underneath there to help things along. I don't know. What else we got? So today I'm going to be doing some treadmill stuff, and then I'm going to be doing Star Trek comics to social media, which is always a blast because the Star Trek Book Club website always gets a whole bunch of traffic after I do that, and new people are discovering it every time I do it, which is great. I set up a whole new error checker for that last night to check for images that didn't have an image type, and I found all sorts of books that just didn't have what kind of book it was, because it's a custom taxonomy for all the images. So there's a bunch of logos and stuff that got posted to the site when you're talking about conventions and shows and stuff that are coming up, and those got their own exclusion to the thing. But it was the comic books specifically is what I was looking for, because eventually I'm going to dovetail that whole system into having a automated report on not automated, just a dynamic report on the different types of comic books that are out there, how many books publishers have published, which book had the most variants, which I think is still Star Trek Green Lantern #1 with 30 or 40 variants. Why would you need that many variants of one comic book? That's just, God, it's just too much. Anyways, so I've got like, God, like 50 other error checkers to add to that site, but I don't like adding 1,000 error checkers that have 1,000 things that have like stuff that need to have action taken on them, because then I get overloaded. So I just add them on as the other ones are cleared out, and then I'm just doing maintenance on them, like books without authors, that kind of thing. So, which surprisingly, there's like 800. I think I'm actually down to like 500. There's like 500 books on that site that don't have authors, but that includes comic books and magazines, which I want to say those are the greatest lion's share of them all, is the magazines, because most of the magazines are ephemeral when it comes to fandom. They come in, they've got interviews, they got pictures, and then they're forgotten about and just trashed. And I originally, when I started my Star Trek literature collection, I didn't care about the comic books, I didn't care about the magazines, I didn't care about anything. But if you buy enough books, magazines and comic books are going to start showing up in the lots that you're bidding on. And then eventually you see, oh, hey, someone's trying to get rid of 200 magazines and they want $50 for the whole thing. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I could build that collection too. And there's actually a great sense of the time that the magazine was printed within those magazines, because if you want to take the temperature of how the fandom felt about the franchise at the time the magazine came out, most of the magazines, especially like the Star Logs and stuff like that, are going to be complaining about the same exact stuff that fans are complaining about now, where this latest crew just isn't, it's not what Star Trek's about, and they're trying new stuff and it's just not working, and yada 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 yada. And the last magazine I read that said that was talking about the Next Generation crew, talking about how it wasn't real Star Trek, and that some people were going to gaffiate, which is an initialism, an acronym. It's an acronym that stands for "Get Away from It All." And I first ran into that in the those magazines. So it's really funny though. Some of them, I think I've actually taken pictures and posted them to Facebook or everything, but it's hilarious. And then later on today, I'm doing communications for the local Star Trek fan group, which is a lovely collection of people that have been members of the club since the original series. And it's not quite grown since I think these people were most largely in college. So I think that getting it out there that we're having these meetings, that we're doing stuff at these meetings, is the first step, because I struggled mightily to figure out if there was a Star Trek fan club here in town. It was like after, maybe it was right before COVID, that I started going to the meetings. And the only reason I ran into them was because I was doing book research, and I think they were going to have an author or two come to the International Star Trek Fan Club meeting, that the annual meeting was happening here in town in 2020. And as you can imagine, that meeting fell apart, never happened. But the advertising for it in 2019, I ran into that, and I thought it was just pretty darn amazing that we had a local group that was doing Star Trek stuff. It's not exactly what I would hope for in a group, but I think that the ideas that I have will be welcome, because they're all very friendly people, and they all seem super into the franchise as much as I am. And it's great to get with people of the like mind and just talk shop. Yeah. So that's my day. Maybe I'll be setting up some meetup groups for them. Maybe I'll be doing some like paid work. I don't know. I've already done like the moderation for the day for like my own stuff. So maybe I'll put a movie on. Maybe I'll go to the movies. Lisa Frankenstein, I think, is still in theaters, and I think that looks like a cute film. I don't know. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know. No, today's comic book day, so I'm gonna go buy comic books, and I need to go pick up a prescription for Miles too. I need to write down all this stuff because I actually don't have that on my to-do list. Because my cat's on anxiety meds, and we're running out, so we need to make sure that he stays pretty static. Oh, and speaking of cats, my wife brought back another cat, so now we have 6 cats in the house. It's JJ, who that is not JJ. That is Bella Bean. Uh, JJ is so small. She is such a tiny little kitty cat. We got her originally from Ika Animals. It's actually just Ika because it's something Earth cares for humanity and animals. So if you say Ika Animals, it's like animals, animals. ATM machine. Yeah. Anyways, we first got JJ years ago, a couple years ago, when she was like 6 months old. She was an emergency placement because the lady that had her saved her from somewhere, and she wasn't able to take care of her, and she was going to take her to the shelter. And Ika was like, "Hey, you guys just finished up a round of kittens. What do you think about taking JJ for an emergency placement, and we'll try to get her adopted out?" Well, that all happened, and then my mother-in-law fell in love with her, and my mother-in-law actually took this cat, and she's had JJ forever. But JJ is like a tiny little cat. She's like 6 pounds, maybe. She's like half the size of our smallest cat. She's so small, but like she's a full-grown cat now. Like she's got no more growing to do unless she goes round. But she's a very like active cat, so she's very very skinny and very very small. And maybe I can see if I can get her on camera later on. But she's adorable. I'm great. I'm happy to see her again. I remember her. She does not remember me though, because it's been a couple years since she was here at the house for longer than a couple days. So she has had a very angry night, just hissing at everyone. But she'll get used to it, and she's gonna become my couch buddy again. I know that. So I used to take naps with her. She's a good cat. Anyways, I've gone way too long now. I think I need to set a time budget for these two. I'm going to write that down as well because me just rambling forever, I could talk for a while. Like I just go start talking. What do you think? 10 minutes? 5 minutes? 5 minutes might be cutting it a little too close. 10 minutes? I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to sit through like watching myself talk for 10 minutes. Anyways, these are the decisions I need to make today. Have a good day.